Hello and welcome to Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Consciousness. And as I said in the show just an hour ago, we are in the shadow period of a Mercury retrograde. And I know for all of you watching today, that's important. But watching is as a replay, you might be watching it months from now. So you're going to have to check your ephemeris to find out exactly when Mercury retrograde is. But it's roughly a 2-week period of shadow before the actual event. And the strangest of things can happen. And they have been lots, mostly with technology. So, we are having a show today about healing emotional poison. And we have two experts with us today, one of whom is Vesna Matic, who has been on our show. Both of our guests have been on our show before. Vesna Matic has an MA in clinical psychology and a licensed master's level psychology certificate and is a certified integral health practitioner, which encompasses both Eastern and Western psychologies and philosophies. The combined education and disciplines have opened doors to Vesna becoming a transformational counselor, pranic healer, a shaman, a spiritual director, a reverend, and a certified constellations facilitator. Vesna has developed several pathways for personal therapy that integrate the science of mental health and the dimension of the human spirit to address the full spectrum of the human experience. Vesna has several approaches for therapeutic counseling. She provides one-on-one sessions in an office or a home setting for comfort and security. And in an adventurous spirit of exploration of multi-level healing, Vesna has taken her diverse spiritual experiences to offer clients international tours to ancient and sacred sites for participation in cultural traditions as a journey guide under Visions for Life, her company, through ceremonies with shamans of the Amazon rainforest and Incan traditions, the spiritual masters of Nepal and Bhutan, and the foundational mysticism of ancient Europe. And these journeys have sparked a deep emotional healing and inspired new and expansive motivation to live life with great purpose and joy for participants who seek the full connection of body, mind, and spirit. And in the spirit of this being the consciousness show, that's perfect for us. Welcome, Vesna Matic.
Thank you. Thank you. Freudian slip, I don't know. But anyway, that was good.
Okay, so before we go into this, I'm going to introduce our other guest, Dr. Doug. And I'm going to say the whole big long introduction because he deserves it. Dr. Doug is a master transformational healer, a visionary, and an innovator of cellular resonance, cell to soul healing. It's actually soul to cell healing, isn't it? A powerful energy medicine system that finds and clears the traumatic stress that gets stuck in your brain and your body and deeply affects and interferes with your health, your happiness, your relationships, and your success. And Dr. Doug is the author of The 7 Quantum Healing Secrets, a board certified doctor of chiropractic, and a board certified quantum medicine doctor, American Naturopathic Board of Medicine. Dr. Doug is the founder of the Lehrer School of Energy Medicine and Rich in Health Foundation nonprofit that teaches doctors and healing professionals how to heal the stress, the emotions, and the epigenetic generational patterns to activate your brain, your body, and your soul's natural self-healing powers and embody your true self-purpose, prosperity, and love consciousness. Dr. Doug has performed over 500,000 patient healings worldwide. He practices in Los Angeles, California. Dr. Doug helps many change-making luminaries, entrepreneurs, professionals, executives, royalty, athletes, celebrities, doctors, producers, actors, directors, writers, and parents, children, and teens. So welcome, Dr. Doug Lehrer. That is such a mouthful, Doug. Okay, so we've got our little panel going here, and I'm going to be asking the questions, but I have my own, ways of dealing with limitations and trauma, and I have my own whole history of things, and I should be introducing myself as well, but be that as it may. So I want to ask a question of both of you. What are the biggest benefits that come from working with each of you? Vesna, can we start with you? What are the biggest benefits of people getting to work with you?
Okay. Wasn't expecting that question. So let's see. I think, well, I hope that there are a lot of benefits. For me, it is about kind of reconnecting with, with the self, with the soul, and
And your true passion and your purpose in life,
yeah,
discovering,
yeah,
connecting, right?
living and really living the best life possible, I guess, would be a quick synopsis.
Well, you basically work through the blocks and traumas that hold a person back from living their full life, correct?
Yeah, I've been in the field of psychology my whole profession, and have worked with all age groups, children, adolescents, adults, all issues, Vietnam veterans, rape, molest, domestic violence, uh, and I get the greatest satisfaction when a person really feels that they are able to kind of go back to the issues that had blocked them, and just feel a lot freer,
Mm.
more connected. That to me is really one of the greatest pleasures.
And one of the things that you do, though, is you take people on these amazing journeys and help them deal with the native shamans in like Peru, for example. You've got a trip coming up that you do every year in the wintertime, and that's coming up, and you work with other healers and practitioners in lots of different countries, correct?
Yeah, and another thing for me, there are healers. I don't care where you go in this world. When you go back to the indigenous peoples, they have their own ways of connecting the self, the spirituality,
Hmm.
and I really love working with the people wherever I go, because they might have a slightly different spin on things, how they address these issues. So for me, it's also always a learning experience. So I really do like connecting with them. In Peru, for example, with the plant medicines, the rape, a lot of the other traditional ceremonies like the despacho ceremony. And it's more than just something that they do, it's actually a way of life. Just like with the indigenous peoples here in the United States, it's a way of life.
Hmm.
So it's beautiful to me. Yeah.
Every time I hear you talk about the gazpacho, I think of soup.
This is despacho.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear a little bit from Doug, because Doug, you do something very similar. Vesna works with helping people encourage allowing the spiritual energies to enter their body. You work with people regardless of their belief system with the spirit, but you work with those very same energies. Am I correct?
Well, I'm working with the universal pulse of creation,
Mm.
which I also, call the God pulse. So getting people to resonate their cells with the higher soul self and the divine creative power that made our body, that really is in charge of everything, where we get realigned with that. And our minds, our emotions, our stresses take us off that natural, high focused destiny that we could all have.
Mm.
And I help them to find and dissolve those negative energies, those negative patterns and programs within their subconscious memory, brain, body, and their soul,
Sorry for
localized
the
soul
noise.
body. Pardon?
I said sorry for the noise. There's a big truck driving outside. Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay, so both of you work with traumas. Both of you come from a different place. Vesna comes from two different directions. So I'm going to let you take over and say, Vesna, where you come from, because you come from psychology and from the shamans, the traditional, and Doug comes from chiropractic and from downloading this amazing quantum, soul to cell healing. So Vesna, you first. Let's hear a little bit more about how you got into this and exactly what it is that you do.
Sure.
We're all about healing the poison, the emotional poisons, correct?
Right. Well, life in and of itself, brings so many things to us. And actually, I'm gonna bring in two personal situations that happened to me.
Let's do one first and then we'll go to a commercial. How about that?
Okay. Well, they're really tied in because last year I live in Phoenix and right now it's monsoon season. So last year, August 14th, a huge eucalyptus tree fell on my house.
I knew you were going to tell me this. I just knew you're going there.
You know, and it took like
unbelievable what happened.
2 to 3 months for the damage to be repaired because the master bedroom needed to be pretty much redone, and the floor, the hallway, the tile, everything. And then this August, on August 12th, here again, monsoon season, a tree limb fell on my car.
Yeah, somebody's telling you something, girl.
Totally demolished, and it was, I have to say that to me, both situations, some of my coworkers and the clients who witnessed the tree limb fall on my car, I think were kind of waiting for me to freak out, so to speak. And to me, I was almost laughing because it's kind of like, who in the world would ever predict twice in a span of 1 year, something like that?
Anniversary present.
And it's like, what can you do? So that's what I mean.
You could move.
Well, believe me, that's something I've been thinking about for the longest, because I know when I moved to Arizona, even though it is a beautiful state and everything, I just never really call it home. I say I'm going back to Phoenix. I don't call it home because I know there's another place I'm supposed to be.
Well, I think you're supposed to be in Peru because you light up when you talk about it, and you light up when you're on those trips and you send us beautiful pictures. So let's go to a commercial really quick, and we're going to download somebody's gift. I don't know if it's Vesna's or Doug's or mine, but we've got gifts for you. So scan the QR code or click on the link, or after the show is over, go to the Facebook group and get the gifts there for you. And we'll be right back with Multiple Streams of Consciousness. Vibe it up. Thanks, and we're back with Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Consciousness. And I just want you guys to know out in TV land, you do want that gift. You absolutely want that gift. I know it's called tips for your shamanic trip, for your sacred trip or journey, but there's very, very important reasons why you definitely do want to take these trips, and we're going to get into that a little bit later in the show. But I interrupted Vesna telling about her amazing tree landing on her house, and then following your landing on her car story. Let's go into that and the next little bit of story, and then we'll give Doug some time to talk.
Sure. So, when you were asking me that question, Lexus, we cannot predict, some of the crazy things that happen in our life. And so it's not really, I think sometimes a question, are things going to happen, but more the perception, how do you deal with things, which is the real crucial question here. And so when let's say traumatic events happen, going back and processing the trauma first and foremost. People so often want to just kind of gloss over it and think that, well, if I don't think about it, if I put it in the back of my mind, it's going to magically disappear and everything will go back to normal. It doesn't go back to normal. when we have these experiences, we remember them because they are a part of our history. It's that the feelings, the attachments to those experiences change.
Mm.
And that's when we know that we have kind of made a step up, in life. Not only do we help ourselves, but we also help the people around us.
Exactly.
So
Or we drive them crazy.
and that is one of the things that I do is you know I feel that I just kind of guide people because we have the answers in ourselves.
Mm.
So I kind of guide people through the process of the trauma that they had, and then
Resolve it.
seeing what they can learn from it.
Mm. Very, very good point. Because that's what happens with Dr. Doug too. When we talk, and I have something that I'm going through, I don't even know what the thing is. I just know my shoulder hurts or this hurts, and we get into the crux of it. And Dr. Doug helps me process those emotions, but he has a different method. So I'm going to ask you, Doug, how do these suppressed emotions from trauma cause these behaviors, and those behaviors actually become addictive, and that's why we have repetition of these things going on and on, correct?
Yeah, I mean, once we have a repressed emotion, which is based on fear-based consciousness, we will develop some sort of coping mechanism.
Mm.
It can come in a variety of behaviors and mechanisms for us. For some people, it could be, uh, drinking alcohol,
Mm.
uh,
Drugs,
over,
alcohol, sex,
over,
shopping.
overeating,
Mhm.
having a lot of sex with a lot of different people, or one. However, it is.
Shopaholics.
Yeah, shopaholic. I mean, there's the varieties of addictions and attachments and behaviors that people do is I mean, look at all the psychologists have written books on their view of all the different behaviors. I mean, there's hundreds, probably thousands of books to describe all these things. So
Mhm.
what I do is just find the pattern. You can have this picture up on the screen of your computer that you're looking at, right? Oh, it could be a hand like that. Okay, and we're looking at a hand. But the thing is that all the things that are in that computer that made this manifest here don't look anything like a hand.
Mm-mm.
It's just basically code, right? And so that's the same thing. You have all these behaviors that people are trying to treat, or diseases, or pain, or you have a marital problem, or you get a business coach because you're just making bad decisions all the time, and I need someone to coach me on that. No, you're making those bad decisions based on some program. You're making those choices based on some program. You have a behavior based on some program or a group of programs, more likely.
I don't know about
And
that last example because I think a lot of the times people choose a business coach because they don't have that knowledge. They are very well versed in this thing that they're coaching or they're teaching or whatever their business is, and then they hire a business coach because they don't have any education on that part. So it isn't completely about that, is it? Or is it?
no, I'm not. There's.
Or you're just giving an
I'm just giving an example.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
giving an
okay. Sorry about
example.
that. I got a little
Remember,
touchy there for a second.
remember, if somebody has a sabotaging behavior, if somebody has an energetic that destroys everything in their path, they could get the very best business coach in the world, and it's not going to change a whole lot. Maybe they give them a bunch of strategies that they don't have, a bunch of business advice. But if that person still has to make the choices, my father used to say, where I go, I must follow, and that ruins the whole thing. It's like wherever you go, whatever you do, you bring that negative consciousness into play, and it's going to play, and it's going to do its thing. It's going to be automatic. You may not even realize it's happening, but
Mm.
you're sending out the energy for,
Well, that's very true. We talk
and
about
it's going to come back to you, and that's what kills that whole law of attraction thing. Because you
mm,
can think one thing, but your subconscious is producing this thing, and you're trying to override it. We need to. That's a lot of effort to override, and there's some people who are masterful at overriding it, and are billionaires or have a successful business and they have all these things. They're just so good here, but they still have this back here causing different problems and upheavals that they're able to, manipulate and master and move around. But they're supposed to deal with the cause of it, because sooner or later it's going to manifest
somewhere, yeah,
into a physical health problem.
Mm-hmm.
And by that time, it's likely going to kill you, because it's going to be
not even just physical health problems. It also, sorry to interrupt you, but it also manifests. You can have money, and be a, absolute billionaire, but you don't have any joy in life. You never get to enjoy doing things in places just for yourself. Or maybe you don't have love in your life. You have all this money, but you haven't loved yourself, and you aren't, available to love someone else, and you don't attract that, right?
Exactly. Most people aren't getting what they really, really, truly want. And that is acceptance, love, friendship, joy, happiness, inner peace, and being able to have a life where it's not one thing after another, if you know what I mean. One negative thing. No, I just gotten done with that one. Whew. Got that one done. Now another one opens up. I don't know how many of you have had that happen to you.
Well, those are cycles. Those are repetitive cycles.
Need to
learn the lesson here. But I'd like to know what your take is on Vesna, because I hate to make you a patient here, Vesna, but you have this seemingly repetitive cycle of trees falling. I saw it on the house, and now we've seen it on the car. I think you better go buy a bicycle or a Jeep or a truck or something, so that it's not you that it lands on next time.
I don't. Nah, I'm not worried about that.
Well, sometimes we're creating it through our negativity and through our negative patterns. Other times, we're just not changing, and we're not making a change that's really vital in our path that our soul has for us. And so the soul thinks, I think I'll maybe break a few branches off there, and move, move through, or whatever it is. So
I have to come in here and say, I've been an astrologer for 5 decades, and I've got to say that I've told Vesna that she shouldn't be living where she's living. And she said other energy workers and prognosticators say the same thing, that it's not a shouldn't kind of thing. It's just that she's playing a smaller game, and she has such a love of helping people and all these journeys and the shamanic and the rape and ayahuasca and all these other wachuma and things that she has available to her, and she still stays stuck in this one little area of Arizona where she's contented and happy. But I think the universe is throwing trees at you for a reason and telling you to get the heck out of Dodge and move to where you like one of these sacred places, don't you think?
Because let me tell you, I'm not at a small place, because I'm in Phoenix. So Phoenix is huge, but I agree. Like I said, even when I moved to Arizona back in 2008, I knew that I was not going to live here permanently. So I know that. And the 2 episodes with the trees, I'm sure, it's saying that I need to think seriously about, moving out of not only state of Arizona, but perhaps just out of the U.S., because I love Mother Nature. I love the earth, and need to be much closer. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to another commercial right now. And after the commercial, we're going to talk about what the solution is. How do people truly heal their emotions and feelings and the diseases that they create, and what the solution is to heal the trauma from both of you. But right now, we've got another gift for you. So these are commercials. I just love these commercials, because they're always commercials you want to watch, because there's gifts for you. So scan the QR code or copy the link, and let's see you in a few minutes, or 1 minute. And we're back with multiple streams of consciousness, even though that was the commercial for multiple streams of wellness. That's that crazy little Mercury, that silver winged devil, causing havoc with our show today. And we're going to be talking now about, we are talking about healing the poison emotions that cause discomfort and pain in our body and traumas and disease. But I think we both can agree, or the both of you and myself can agree, that the solution is to heal the trauma, the stress, and the emotion on all levels of the body, mind, and soul. So I want to hear from both of you on how you guys do that. How do you approach those subjects? Both of you, jump in. You can talk at the
Who's
same
going
time.
first? Okay.
Go ahead, Dr. Doug.
Well, if those of you who scanned on my gift, the 7 quantum healing secrets, that's how I do it. We have to repolarize the brain. We have to resolve that encoded message. And your brain and nervous system work pretty much just like a computer, because it's designed after this master design thing here, this brain. And what do? You have a bad program in your computer. You delete it, right? So I find a very specific spot on your body, go right to it, and with the right energy, and boom, run that energy and delete that subconscious program at the cellular level, the subconscious mind level, and the energy field soul level simultaneously, and it clears. And people literally in a few minutes feel different. They feel their body relax, their tone change, their emotions. I was treating a scientist at USC Medical School, and who had grief from the death of her father intensely in her, and so she was always grief-ridden, sad for a year and a half. And in 15 minutes, she goes like, boom, her whole eyes lit up here, and she had this big, and she went, how did you do that? She felt the grief just go just like that. It was resolved.
Wow.
Resolved. So when the emotions resolve, there's also a change physiologically. Your hormones, your neurotransmitters, your muscles, your organs and glands, they all of a sudden stopped going fight the bear, fight the tiger, and all of a sudden they stop. And what's the other side of physiology from fighting bears and tigers? Healing, relaxation, inner peace, joy, love. When you're running from a bear, it's like, get out of there. Fear, angst, worry. Is he close? I'm just going to keep on running. And so that's the dis-ease process. So we reverse it from the dis-ease process to the healing process. Your body knows how to do it. Doctors don't heal, and healers don't heal.
You don't heal. The body heals itself.
The body heals when we remove the interference, the stress interference, and get the whole system to work together. Mind, body, and soul comes together, and boom, you begin to heal. Then when you walk out of the office, you stay good, right? Unless you create another stress or another negative thought. So that's what regular care is all about: is building that strong love, peace, inner system, connectedness, and resolving all the other stresses before those create something, or we don't even know that they're creating something, which they are. They're affecting our relationship.
Okay. You're helping the healing on an energetic level, but Vesna, you do it on an energetic level too, because we had you speak a week or two ago about how you brought a guest on. Remember Brad, and you had a miraculous experience just with a bath.
Yeah. Well, and that was one component. I use a variety of healing methods, and it's also, for me, yes, as I said before, I've been in the field of psychology my whole profession, and so everyone is different, and there are things that resonate with a person, I think, more than others, or because, of course, we also change over time. So, for example, pranic healing, which a lot of people are not quite familiar with, but when you say Reiki, everyone is like, yes. Pranic healing is very similar in that, of course, it also deals with energy, but with pranic healing, it is more specific. So, for example, if a person comes to me, let's say with arthritis, okay, then there are certain parts of the body where that energy is stifled, okay, and then I remove that energy and put in the put in the lighter energy. So, for example, pranic healing. I also do various Native American ceremonies, and then with Brad, as you mentioned, Lexus. Here again, I kind of did a combination of things with him. I used one of my singing bowls with him, also the rape,
The vibration, yeah.
which is from Peru. So yeah, the singing bowl was the vibration. It is a crystal singing bowl. The rape, which is something that I brought with me from Peru, as well as meditation, and kind of used all three of them in these sessions, and also recommended that he go back home and do a salt bath in order to also release, so that he could release a lot of the negative energy that he was carrying. And for him, that was the first time that he had actually gone into a salt bath, and found it to be exceptional. So actually, he texted me the other day and said that he wants kind of another session, 3 days. So it really depends. Like I said, I have these different methods that I use, and it's whatever helps. Of course, another one is taking people on these spiritual journeys, because I think once a person leaves their homeland and goes to another country, there is really this sense of freeing that happens, and a person really also kind of opens up. So I like to use all of them.
Well, we're talking about having a trip. Vesna, you do take people on these trips, and we're talking about getting Dr. Doug and myself and maybe some other people to go with you, to be the practitioners, to help facilitate these experiences. But I just wanted to point out that we're talking about a particular client that you had named Brad. And if you haven't seen that episode, you really should go see it, because it's amazing. He came on the show and said himself how he had tried to overcome cocaine and couldn't. And he didn't even want to take cocaine in the first place. He kind of got sucked into it and then became easily addicted to it, because it is a highly addictive substance, and just couldn't kick the habit until he met Vesna. And with this 3-day experience with Vesna, he hasn't had cocaine since. And he credits you, Vesna, with that.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, for him, it was the childhood trauma, the parents, and just holding on to that for so long, and found, that cocaine was a way for him to escape, all of that pain. So we all do it in different ways. And even though it sounds crazy, but a lot of times we get used to the chaos. And when life all of a sudden seems to kind of calm down, level out, we do something in order to bring that
Some
chaos.
of us are addicted to that drama, right? We want the drama of the chaos, and the drama is actually the sensationalism that makes life exciting for us, because we're in our boring humdrum, go to work, come home, sleep, get up, go to work, do the same thing over and over and over, have 2 days to drink beer and have barbecues with the family, and then go back to work and do it again. Right. And so we feel like, what's life all about? It's just this repetition over and over and over. So we created drama to have some excitement in our life. But right now, we're going to go for another QR code, or hit to the link session. So get your phones out, or scan the QR code, or hit the link and get another gift. And we'll be right back to talk some more about healing emotional poisons. with Multiple Streams of Consciousness and Vibe It Up with Vesna Matic, our resident psychologist, and Dr. Doug Lehrer. I want to ask you a question. First of all, I just want to say that my little commercial that we just had on, I have a 5-day challenge coming up where I teach people how to Dr. Doug and I are the coach's coach. Like, we're the consultant, mentor, coach to coaches to help them. Dr. Doug helps them facilitate what he does, his quantum soul-to-cell resonance healing. And we have our own challenge coming up, but my challenge is about how to write a book. And the book is for people like ourselves to teach us how to write a book that markets your business. So that's what the 5-day challenge is about. And a lot of people watching our show are practitioners, and that's why I bring it up. But where I want to go with this here, we've got about less than 20 minutes or around 20 minutes left for our show. Dr. Doug, you talk about the 5 healing frequencies that help us to heal. Can you talk a little bit about what those 5 are? I know they're in your book, but let's talk a little bit about them, and then maybe Vesna can have a little bit to say about something similar.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the most important thing for us in this life is acceptance, self-acceptance, to accept everything, ourselves, every aspect of ourselves, every aspect of everything in our life. And that's pretty challenging. We should have the acceptance challenge, So, what aren't you accepting?
Absolutely do that.
Accepting about yourself. And here's the deal. You can't fool yourself. We've already tried to do that. I was an expert at that for a while.
Every single day, right? Every single day we do.
Every single day. So what we have to do, a lot of people talk about, you got to be honest. And how many people are really honest with themselves? Are they really like being true to themselves? And true to but not just to themselves, to thine own heart be true.
Oh, my mother used to say that to me all the time.
Be true to your heart. But this is beyond like, I love him or I love her. This is being true to, like, are you being a dentist and you really wanted to be a rock and roll musician and you're darn good at that electric guitar and you're not doing it and it's just, tearing you apart, So we have to be true to our heart, true to our own emotional knowing within ourselves.
Not only that, but just to be true to what we came in to be doing here. Yeah. We all came in to this lifetime with I don't know, some type of I call it a blueprint, and we all have certain archetypes. And I do that with my astrologies. I help people in a few minutes figure out what those are on a soul level. But you help people with that as well. Both of you do.
I help them heal that archetype. Remember, there's a light and a dark side of every archetype. So we have to deal with the dark side of it. It's not allowing us to be true to our own heart, true to ourselves. We are presently, because this is a consciousness show, we need to know, well, what are we here to do in consciousness? Humanity is on a love wisdom ray of God, of the soul at this time. And so we are here to embody love from above down, inside and out. And we're here to embody and use the wisdom, our deep inner knowing, our heart knowing, that wisdom that knows, turn left here. But I always go right. No, well, it's longer to go home. This. If I turn left, I'm going to turn right, and we end up in a traffic jam, and we sit there for an hour.
We tried to take a short. We got sabotaged.
The other way that appeared to be longer was actually shorter, and then we were going to miss our dinner. So by somebody put an effort into making it, perhaps. So we really have to have this love and wisdom that runs us in this life. And so we're here to dissolve the things that are blocking us from that level of consciousness, that love consciousness, that wisdom that comes along with it. So that's an example. So those are some of the frequencies. I use forgiveness and unconditional love and forgiveness.
Well, I'm just going to clarify for you so that our
forgiveness is not what people think it is either.
Yeah, so what you told me before the show is unconditional love, acceptance, compassion, gratitude, and forgiveness. And when I was a little girl, one of the other things my mother and dad used to say, or I used to say to them actually, is they ran a business and it was in our home. And I'd come in and say, hey, no big talk, just little talk. And I think that's the tip from my dog Billion here today, that he wants no big talk. He wants some little talk here. So maybe we can get some questions in from our audience to come and ask us. You want to hear what Billion has to say? Because my dog Billion was named after me wanting to help 1 billion people. So we're working on it. Right, Doug? Vesna, we're working on 1 billion people. We're all going to try to help.
Right.
So Vesna, let's hear what you've got to say about what frequencies do you think are most important for us to heal? Frequencies or emotions?
Well, every single one of us, came down here for a reason, and we have been so many things throughout our lifetimes. There are times where we are a person with a lot of power and the perpetrator. There are other times where where we're a survivor of a situation. And so we kind of go back and forth, with these things. And so it is about growing and learning through all of this, and
integrating those experiences, right?
Yeah. So of course, the highest vibration there is love. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a reason why all of us are here, is so that we actually get to the point where we understand that we are love, and we need to emanate that throughout the world. It doesn't matter, wherever I go, wherever I've traveled, the different countries, it's amazing because people all want the exact same thing. They want to feel safe. They want to have food on the table. They want to know that their family, is well taken care of and safe. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter where you go, it's the same thing. And the more that people really understand that, that there is this unity, and we all are interconnected. And that's one of the main things that I also focus on with people.
Einstein said that everything is happening at the same time in like an infinity loop. Right. And I'm not sure exactly how that works, but I do feel that that's correct, that we perceive it as various different lifetimes, but they're actually all happening at the same time. And a lot of us believe that there's no good and there's no bad. There's just how we perceive it. We color it. It's just experiences that our souls came in to have. And the earth is a place of limitation. And having a body is a limitation to our soul, because our soul doesn't have a body and it has freedom. So it comes in and it has to learn to navigate in this vehicle, in the clothing that we wear is our actual skin and bones and all the things that we have wrong. If we need to sew a button on our shirt, maybe we need, we come in with a body that needs something pieced back together too. Those are the experiences that our souls came in to have. And what we do with these experiences and the emotions and the traumas and the feelings that we have choices. Those are all our choices. And we can choose to get all, pissy and angry because somebody cut us off in traffic, or somebody almost killed me today when I'm walking across the road. And, we could choose to be angry about it, or we could choose to say, oh, thank you, God, I made it, across the road. Or, hey, this happened and it prevented me from, like you were saying about taking a different direction. I'm stopped. I took the short route, but I'm stopped due to traffic. I suppose it's saving me from an accident I could have been in further down the road. Right? So you don't know, because you can't play all scenarios at the same time, but all scenarios are being played out at the same time. Just every different human being has a different level of consciousness for memory of those things. So,
well, and we all, free will.
Yeah, I was going to mention about that. I forgot. You're right.
Yeah, and to me, it doesn't matter what religion you come from. And the question I've heard so many people ask, well, if people use the word God, and God knows exactly what you're going to do, does that cut out free will? And it's like, no, because you decide what you're going to do. Just because God knows doesn't make a difference. It's, it's what you choose to do. So you can either have heaven on earth or you can have hell on earth. It's completely up to you.
Exactly.
You can listen to your ego mind in everything that you do, which is fear-based, or you can reconnect within your own heart to the higher self that knows it all, really, and follow that path. And that's what we're here to do. We're choosing between those two paths every time. But we have to dissolve the disconnections, the interference between the ego mind and the soul. That's very different about what I do in my healing work as well. Is get those two to reconnect by dissolving the interference between the two. Remember, life is but a journey to remember what we thought we had lost, what we never had, but that's not true. It is the journey of giving and receiving unconditional love. And love is different than what the mind's concept of it is. It is a presence, it's a unity consciousness that connects all things, is in total presence with that, total acceptance of everything. And it does no harm. Like it does
And
no
there is no
harm.
good and there is no bad. It's our perception of it. There's people that will go to the prison to visit the murderer of their child. Right? And they will go with acceptance and with love in their heart that that person has remorse, or they're hoping to help them, realize remorse. They have love in their heart. Every one of us is everything at some point. In order for us to experience murder, at some point we have to be a murderer, and at some point we have to be the murdered person. It's the same thing with, birth and death. We are all born, we all experience birth, and we all experience death. And there's so many different varieties and ways of all of those. Maybe the conception experience is all that one soul needed.
Absolutely.
Right? Yet we judge, is it right? Is it wrong? What should we do? Should we have abortion? Shouldn't we have abortion? Should we have capital, punishment? Shouldn't we? What's the right thing to do? Right? All of them, all the choices. There are different eras, and in all the different lifetimes of human beings, we've tried everything, and we will continue to try different types of things. It's all necessary.
Right. When we learn all of our lessons from all of it, when we let go of the judgments from all of it.
Yeah, I don't know that they're lessons. I think they're just experiences.
Then we get free.
And that's right. We're working on the freedom part, so we can go back to being the free, unlimited beings that we truly are, and we lose this body. That's when people say that I help people understand how to live in the 3D and still have a 5D existence. When you truly get to 5D, you don't need a body. Truly being in 5D is without a body. So how do we know that when someone dies, that's not their release into the fifth dimension? Right?
I see it a little differently.
Okay, tell us.
Yeah, because the odd dimensions are all physical dimensions. So when we rise into 5D consciousness, we literally change the physical reality to match that consciousness. And so the 3D reality that we exhibit now will disappear. It will just melt away, and it'll become a different reality. That's
do you think so, or do you think Earth will stay the same and will like God destroyed the Earth with the flood? Lemuria is gone, Pangea is gone, Atlantis is gone. Like there are all these different eons are gone, but the world is still here and it starts over again. Maybe when we pass over to another consciousness, those that aren't ready for it start all over again.
Well, those who die without that union of mind, body, soul, then we die with karma. That's what they call karma. That hasn't because the negativity hasn't been erased. So we go back into a reincarnation cycle, back into another whatever that dimensional body was that we were before, another 3-4D body in life, and until we can unify that principle. When we do unify that with the higher dimensional consciousness, that consciousness is right here. It's right there. All we have to do is just bring it in. We bring it in, we create that wholeness. Now we operate from a fifth dimensional consciousness. When enough people vibrate at that, then everyone will vibrate at that. And then
the 100th monkey theory. So
well, the thing with karma,
Yeah.
I'm going to interject here. Karma is simply cause and effect. Okay, people, when people hear the word karma, they automatically go to the negative, the bad stuff. Karma just is. Okay, so whatever action that I do, okay, whether I take an action or I sit back and do nothing, that's karma also, because it's cause and effect. Okay, so I personally really want people to let go of that thing that karma somehow or another is this bad thing.
I know we do it. Doug did it. I do too. We all talk about karma as if it's a bad thing. And
yes, but it's still duality. It's still duality. When you talk about karma, always have the flip side of the negative. So it still has. Has that until you dissolve it all and you dissolve into the next level of consciousness.
But I have a piece of paper here. I don't care how thin it is. There's two sides to it. Okay, there's always two sides to whatever. Okay, but again, karma is just cause and effect. That's it. That's all it is.
So let's go to another commercial, and when we come back, we'll talk about the secret to make these frequencies all work to heal us. Grab your phone, scan the QR code, and copy the link for a gift from Multiple Streams of Consciousness and our two guests and myself. Welcome back to Vibe It Up, Multiple Streams of Consciousness. And for our last 4 or 5 minutes here, we're going to go over the secrets of how to integrate the physical, the mental, the spiritual, and the emotional healing on all of these levels. And I don't see that we're in any disagreement that these things all need to be integrated. It's just different perspectives of the same type of healing. So Vesna, if you'd like to go first.
Well, yeah, I guess, here again, I use different methods, different alternative healing methods. So whatever really speaks to a person is what I use. So, but the end goal, I would say, yes, is that connection, reunification of the body, mind, spirit. So whenever I feel that a certain thing will really resonate with someone, that's what I use. So,
well, plus the fact that plant medicines have an intelligence, they have a consciousness, and they actually work with the level of acceptance that a being comes to them with. So the plants actually work with the level of consciousness you're at to give you the healing that you need at that moment in time. So it's all in divine order. So when you decide to go in and have an experience with plant medicine, you're going to get the healing that you need at that moment in time.
Right.
Okay, Doug? Secret to your frequencies? Secrets to your frequency healing integration?
Again, I find the right series of frequencies needed to dissolve the trauma, stress, negative consciousness, the wounding that's fragmented your brain and nervous system, keeping you in a state of survival, getting you out of the survival mode, into wholeness, and into that healing process that's natural for you, physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I see miracles every day. I'm my success rate is
You've been doing it 35 years.
high, but people have to come with the willingness to learn, the willingness to let go, and the willingness to do what it takes to get better. And it's more of a heart thing, that willingness in their heart. If a person wants it, but they know they have a lack of will there, then that's where we begin. What's blocking you from being willing enough to heal yourself? Is it, you have to be right? If you're being wrong, that's a big one. Not believing you really are good enough, not really believing that you are deserving of healing, whatever that is.
How I see it, Dr. Doug, is that you are plant medicine, that you are that consciousness. You tune into the same higher level of consciousness that plant medicine actually tunes into. And Vesna is going to be leaving us now. She's going to go buy herself a new car. And presuming last year she got herself a new living room. And we will be back again with another
show. That car to Peru.
Right? Yeah, if only we could, right? There's just a little patches of water you can't get over with a vehicle. But we are going to all end up in Peru at some point, all of us. I can just feel it. And we will be back next week with more of our wonderful guests and more of these discussions on healing the consciousness level and the wellness level of our mental, physical, spiritual levels. And on Thursday, we have another fabulous show talking about bringing your internet business, whatever it is you do online, bringing those passions out. And we have lots of wonderful tools for you. So come back and watch us at noon Pacific on Thursday with multiple streams of income. I'll see you again soon. Thank you for being here.